Good evening, everyone. Welcome to iBug Buzz for November 22nd, 2021. This is our 510th meeting. I can't believe I've been to that many meetings. I'm going to get a badge or something. Okay, so Sonia is the co-host, and we are going to be talking about iPhones, iPads, iOS TV, and anything else relating to Apple iProducts. So this meeting is being recorded, and there are a few housekeeping issues that we need to go over. First of all, keep in mind that since we do not use the raised hand feature on iBug Buzz in Zoom, that you will have to do one of several things depending upon what device you're using. If you're using an iPhone, please mute and unmute yourself when you wish to speak. You do this by hitting the button in the lower right-hand corner of your phone. On an iPad, the button is in the center top of the iPad. For a Mac, you will use the key combination Command-Shift-A. For a computer, you will use Alt-A. Now, for both computers, you can also use the space bar to mute and unmute and mute yourself. And for a telephone, you will use the *6 key combination. And let me see. As I said, the meeting is being recorded, so please be respectful of everyone else on here. You can also listen to our meetings on YouTube, on your podcast app, whichever one that may be, or on your favorite smart speaker. And I think that is about it. So we will go around the room and introduce ourselves. And did I miss anything, Sonia?
Sounds good. And just remember, so when you want to speak or ask a question or answer a question, wait until it's quiet and then say your name, and then let one of the facilitators, that would be Jim or me, recognize you, and then you can proceed. Thanks, Jim. Please, great job.
Sure.
Okay.
Please also keep in mind that we want to keep the background noise to non-existent. If we have to warn you twice, the Sanja will be released and you won't like it.
Okay. Well, yeah, great.
So let's all introduce ourselves. I'm your mystery host, Jim. And if you guess my name, you win the contest. And I'm from Pennsylvania. So we're all unmuted now, so we can all go around and introduce ourselves. And we'd like to recognize those people who have never called in before, and this is their first time. Please let us know what device you use and where you're from. And
Susan from Houston. Susan from Houston.
Susan, welcome.
Good evening. Happy Thanksgiving.
And
this
the
is
same
Shelby
to
from
you.
Baytown.
I'm sorry?
Claudia from Baytown.
I didn't
Yeah,
quite
that
catch
was
it.
Shelby and Claudio.
Shelby?
Welcome.
Okay.
From Baytown.
Okay.
Oh, well, welcome. Okay.
This is Herbie in Houston.
Herbie, how are you? You sound really good tonight. You must have been eating your Wheaties.
Chanel, also in Houston, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
And welcome, Chanel, and happy Thanksgiving to you too.
Terry from Arlington Heights, Illinois.
All right, Terry.
Priscilla from Arlington, Texas. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Priscilla, how are you today? All right.
Doing great. How are you?
Good, good.
This is Stephen from Austin, Jim. Happy Thanksgiving to you and everyone else.
Thank you very much. And welcome.
This is Marvin from
Cincinnati.
Chicago.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Whoop, you guys stepped on each other. I heard somebody from Cincinnati and Marvin, I think.
Correct.
K9 Cincinnati.
Okay. All right. Who else do we have?
This is Ned from Kyle, Texas.
Hey, Ned.
Happy Thanksgiving, all y'all. That's plural for you all.
Okay.
This is Shri from Virginia.
Shri, how are you? And who else?
Judy in Connecticut.
Oh, Judy in Connecticut. Okay. Welcome, Judy.
Adam from Chicago.
Adam from Chicago. How are you?
This is Dan from Southern California.
Hey, Dan, how are you? Glad to see you back. Anyone else?
This is Sandhya.
Jody from New Hampshire. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, Sandhya and Jody. Okay, welcome both of you.
Freddie from Southeast Texas.
Well, welcome. Freddie, yeah. And anyone else? Okay. Well, I guess we can start now. And anyone that has an iOS issue, anyone that hasn't been recognized or had the opportunity to speak for a while, please step up to your microphone.
This is Adam.
Yes. How can we help you?
I want to know about emergency contacts, adding someone to the emergency contact list. I know you could do it through contacts. There's other ways you could add a phone number to the emergency contact. My question is this: if I added someone to emergency contact, is there a way that I could test it with the person so that A, I know how to activate it, and B, the person who's designated as the contact would, then we could practice what it'd be like for them if an emergency signal went out to them. And then finally, C, I assume 911 or some other emergency agency is not being also contacted. Thank you.
Okay, now, does anyone have any ideas on how to deal with emergency contacts?
This is Herbie.
Herbie, go ahead.
I know, of course, of like the emergency bypass, and I know of like emergency contacts for the Apple Watch, where you can have one set for like the fall detection. But I'd be curious to know more about what you're referring to there, Adam, because that definitely sounds like that could be an interesting thing. But I've definitely heard about it for the watch, where it, like if you have a fall or whatever, it'll alert, the person you've listed as an emergency contact. And I think that does call 911. But I don't know how that works with the actual, just the phone. So I'm assuming you're talking about the phone, or are you talking about the Apple Watch?
Go ahead, Adam.
This is Adam. I'm talking about the iPhone, and I'm talking when you set up a contact, you could designate them to add them to the emergency contact list. Am I saying that correctly, or am I misusing some terminology?
Sandhya, go ahead.
I think how it works is, 911, so I think what I'm understanding that you want to do is you want to you put me down as your emergency contact. Okay. So then you're like, okay, if something happens, you call 911, then I would get an alert. Is that what you're wanting to try out? Is that the situation?
This is Adam.
Yes.
Yes. And that was one of my questions, Sonia.
Okay.
If you're designated in my contact book as emergency contact, there's no way that I could just send out an alert to the people in my emergency who are designated as emergency contacts, or do I have to contact emergency service like 911?
Yeah, I would have to read more about it. I do not know. If anybody else knows, just say your name. Okay. But
this is Jody.
Oh, Jody, go ahead.
You know, I really don't know, but what I assumed, and of course, assuming is always a mistake, but what I assumed was that your emergency contact was listed, you know, like I used to put ICE after people that I wanted to have as an emergency contact, where if emergency services gets your phone, that they can access your emergency contacts through your phone and find out who they should contact. I was not aware that the emergency contact would call the people directly or alert them directly. And of course, you can add those through the health app too.
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herb.
So I'm actually researching this on the fly, and I'm not surprised to discover. So the emergency contacts, it looks like it's part of the medical ID. So let's see. So you would do it in the Health Help app, and it would be in your profile. So you have to. This isn't something you do in Contacts. This is something you would do in the Health app. So do you have that set up, Adam?
This is Adam. No, I don't. So I would have to.
Okay, so that's you. So you'll need to actually play with the Health app. Okay, so it sounds like if you go to the Health app, you select your profile, medical ID. If you've not set one up, you'll be asked to do so. And there's an edit button at the top in the thing, and then there's a thing for emergency contacts at the bottom. Let's see. Then let's see. Okay, and you get to pick the relationship to you. Oh, I guess you can do it in the Contacts app.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so open contact. Oh, Okay, so I guess there's a button at the I'll have to look at this. There's a thing you can say add to emergency contact details.
All right, this is subject.
I'm
I
gonna
think
come
we
back
need
to
to
this.
figure
I
it
gotta
out.
play with
Yeah,
it myself,
this is
yeah.
not something we can figure out right now. So, good question,
We can-
Adam. Okay,
We can
go
come
ahead.
back to that. I think that would probably be the best thing to do. Okay. Does that meet with your approval, Adam?
Definitely. Thank you, everyone. And again, wishing everyone the best and a healthy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Okay, and you too. Eat too much turkey, everyone. Okay, who has the next question? Going once.
This is Paul.
Paul, how are you? All right.
Well, good evening. I have a follow-up to the last Monday, I believe. I can't remember the gentleman's name. He did a demo of the timer app.
Yep.
And go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
During the demo of the timer app, Shri asked a question about, can you hear a sort of a countdown with voiceover? And the answer pretty much turned out to be no. But what I discovered, and if this makes sense to somebody, please let me know. When I set the timer using the app, the clock app, and then the timer tab, I do not get any kind of a feedback from voiceover. It just simply counts down the seconds and goes off. However, when I use Siri, I can say, hey, SIRI, set a timer for 10 minutes. And then as it's counting down, it periodically does an update of the time remaining every, I'm going to say six seconds or so. And I guess I wonder, has anyone, used the clock app enough to know if indeed, well, does this make sense? I mean, it works through Siri.
Go ahead.
Yes. So, I use the timer app on the clock, main clock, and sometimes when you set the timer, you have to be careful because I have had instances where I'd set the timer and then come back and it would completely clear out, meaning it would look like you didn't even set the timer. So you really have to make sure that you set it. And sometimes you have to use, sometimes I'd have to use other devices like the Echo or whatever.
Okay. Well, anyone else want to talk turkey about the timer? Okay. I guess we will move on to our next question or questioner. Anyone else have anything they want to bring up? Anybody found any new apps, new games?
This is Herbie.
Herbie, go ahead.
So real quick, and I'm not going to demo it, but this might be something worth for maybe an Apple Bytes section or whatever we call it here. iBug Bytes, yeah. But I did just play around real briefly with adding an emergency contact, and you just go to the contact, and it's there at the bottom. You'll see a button that says add to emergency contacts. So that might be worth one of those iBug Bytes one of these weeks.
No, that's great, Herbie. Thank you for that. And I was going to talk about emergency bypass later on this evening.
I'm familiar with that one, but I'd not played with the emergency contacts before. So.
Yeah, okay. All right, fantastic. All right. Who else has anything they'd like to bring up?
This is Sophie from Baytown.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so Sandy and I had a discussion earlier. I'm not sure if anyone has heard of the app called Scribd Audio, or it's called Scribd. It's a book subscription that you can listen to audiobooks and or articles, ebooks, podcasts, etc. And it's only $9.99 a month versus your Audible, which is $15 a month. Plus, with Scribd, you can save multiple books on your shelf, and most importantly, it cuts down on your storage from Bard. Now, I would still recommend keeping your Bard because, like any other services, what Scribd has, Bard may not have, and vice versa. So, and they are currently working on improving their accessibility for especially challenged users. And my cousin recommended it for me. And
I'm sorry, we were getting some background.
I'm sorry, it's me. My grandparents are watching a movie. Sorry, they turned it down. I'm exercising. So basically, Scribd Audio is a pretty good app for book reading, and you can save as many books as you want, and it's only $9.99 a month, and it's pretty good. I've used it, and I love it. This is Shelby.
So this is Herbie.
Yes, go ahead. I think Jim got muted. Go ahead.
So real quick, what was the name of that app one more time?
It's Shelby. It's called Scribd Audio.
That's SCRIB space audio.
I think it's SCRIBBD and then
Okay.
audio. And it's not just audio. You can like read articles, magazines, ebooks, like print books. VoiceOver will read them, but it's kind of weird.
All right, sounds cool.
Yeah, it's cool, and you can do. I prefer the audiobooks just because I've attempted to listen or use the VoiceOver to do ebook. Yeah, it's a little scratch, but it can be doable if you know. And most importantly, like I said, it cuts down on your storage.
Okay,
This is
that's
Shri.
fantastic. Thank you. Yes, Shri, go ahead.
Is the $9.99, is it for one book per month?
This is Shelby. No, this is, you can save up to you can save more than one book on like Audible. You can have you can have 500 books on your shelf, and it's all a part of your membership.
Oh, wow.
I can post a link into the iBook group so you can know all about what it is and how it is. And as I said, they are making things more visually challenged friendly.
Oh, fantastic. Well, all us audiophiles are going to love something like that.
Yeah. So, and as I said, we heard Sanjay and I were talking earlier that I could do a free demo on how it works and how you can do it, how you can download books or save books. You can download or save. You don't necessarily have to download them. You can just save it to your bookshelf, and then you read it. And then when you're finished, you can rate, with the 5 stars or whatever, and then delete it, and it'll be saved to your history. So if you want to go back and read it again, it's right there.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Okay. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to bring up? Susan.
Yes. Okay. I have an iPhone 13, and quite often when I'm having to hold my phone, when I'm somewhere and need to hold it, a lot of times it goes pop, 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 pop. It's the same kind of noise it makes like when I swipe up on the side to get the app switcher, which is fine. I don't mind that, but when I hold it, a lot of times it'll make that same sound, and it gets frustrating making that noise. Is there a way to stop it from doing that all the time?
Okay,
So,
does anyone have any ideas?
This is
Go ahead.
Kushal.
Yes, go ahead.
So how are you holding the phone, Susan?
Well, let's say like whenever
Just normally holding it like in your hand?
Well, wait.
Can we just let one of you speak at a time, please?
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'll give you one example. Say like I'm leaving the doctor's office and I'm calling Metrolift. And so I'm holding the phone, not up to my ear, but I'm holding it in my hand naturally. And it'll do that. It'll pop, 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 pop.
Okay.
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
So are you talking about touching on the screen where there's no element and you're getting that sound?
As far as I know, I'm not touching it. That's a possibility. So I'm not going to rule that out. Like I said, it's the same kind of sound when I swipe up on the left to get the app switcher. And like I said, that's fine. In fact, that lets me know that it's taking me there. You know how it go 1 pop for something, 2 pops for something, and then 3, it takes you to app switcher. That's fine. But I'm talking about, when it does it, when I'm holding it in my hand.
This is Shri.
Go, Shri.
So I suspect, Susan, you might be touching on empty space, and by default on your phone, it makes that rapid sound. You can go to settings, accessibility, voiceover, into sounds, and go to this, go to audio, then go to sounds and haptics. And I believe it's under the sound selection. There is an option to select the unknown areas to turn that off so you don't hear that sound.
There's Susan.
Go, Susan.
All right, so I won't have to go into accessibility for that then, because I've been in sounds and haptics a lot of times in settings, so I know what you're talking about there. But I didn't quite get that last part. I go in there and I look for what is it I turned off, and I don't want to turn off the entire thing because I don't mind that popping sound when I want to go to the app switcher or something on the left-hand side.
This is Shri.
Shri, go ahead.
So Susan, it's basically you have to go to voiceover, audio, sounds, and haptics. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it talks about something in the word the words of like an unknown area, or I think that's what it has, something like that. And if you turn the sound and the haptics, then that will go away.
Okay, I'll give that a shot. Okay, thanks, Ray. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you have to do it through accessibility.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, like Shri said. Okay, it sounded to me like you kind of missed that portion of it, because this is working specifically with voiceover. Okay. And probably when you are holding the phone in your hand, your fingers might or might not be touching the screen and setting it off.
That's a good possibility.
It doesn't take much sometimes.
You got that right. Okay, yeah, I never knew sounds and haptics was also an accessibility. I never knew that, and I had to go through. He said audio something to get to it.
It's accessibility, sounds, and haptics, and then audio.
This is Shri.
Go, Shri.
It's under voiceover audio.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right, thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
All righty, good. Well, now who has another question they'd like to ask? Anything you want to bring up?
It's Kathy.
Kathy, how are you?
Good.
Good.
I noticed Saturday when we were going around and people were saying what app they were thankful for. And a couple of people mentioned scanning. And I was thinking later, like, that should be a real important app for us. I mean, accessing print has been the major problem, but to me, scanning is always so frustrating. I never seem to be able to read what I want to read. Like usually it's food related, like I'll scan a frozen package and, it'll tell me everything but what I want to know. Like the other day I had 2 boxes of, I shouldn't admit this, but I had 2 boxes of Hostess crumb cakes. One had cream cheese in it and one did not. And I was trying to figure out which was which. And, it was reading all the ingredients, which really there are way too many. Nobody should eat those crumb cakes at all. But I could not get it to just say Hostess cream filled, I couldn't. So anyway, my question is, I was just wondering if someone who mentions that scanning was the best product. And I think Jody mentioned it. I may be wrong, but I wondered if you could talk a little about what scanning you do. I mean, maybe, do you scan books or what? Because
Jody,
whatever.
Okay. Does anybody have an answer for Kathy's scanning issues? I find that you may have to try more than one app, but go ahead, Jody. Yeah.
Yeah, generally speaking, there seems to be a fairly standard layout for packages. So, for example, when I get a bag of tater tots out of the freezer, or most products, when you look at the container on the back, the left half is usually where they put all the nutritional information, the calories and all that stuff you don't want to hear about. And then on the right side of the package is usually where they have the directions. So what I try to do is when I'm trying to line it up, what I do is I put my elbows on the counter, I put the product that I'm trying to scan on the counter, and that spaces it up fairly, even from the camera. And then I just kind of tilt the camera a little bit to the right. And it's trial and error. You can take a picture and scan and see if you get what you want. And hopefully, but it is frustrating to try to find the cooking directions when you've got all that information on the package. And then when you're looking for a barcode, generally speaking, it's usually in the lower left corner on the back, or if that's not the case, it's usually on a seam at the bottom, or it might even be on the bottom of the container. You just have to search if you're leaving Seeing AI for looking for barcodes.
So what you're saying, it's a lot of trial and error, no matter which app you use.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, but then again, when you want to space it, I find that putting it on the counter and putting my elbows on the counter on either side of the product kind of spaces it for me for the camera, and then that gives you the right distance from the product to the camera for taking a picture. But it is pretty much trial and error, and lighting has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's very helpful. Does anyone else have any resolutions for Kathy's problem? Because we're all coming over for cake and coffee.
They're almost gone.
Oh, well, we better hurry.
It's Kathy again.
Go ahead.
One of the other things that's really hard is cans. And I mean, I have these cans of beans, and I know some of them are kidney beans, some of them are black beans, some of them are green beans, what I call string beans. Or is it the other way? And it'll just say beans, and I just can't. It's almost like all this scanning technology we have should be making things so much easier. And I find like it's somehow, maybe I don't do as good a job of labeling as I used to, but.
Okay, go ahead, Herbie. You can always tell what beans you've had after you've eaten them.
So one thing to keep in mind when you're scanning stuff too is most of these apps, I forget which one you said you were using, but most of these apps usually have these options. So there is like regular like text scanning, and then there's also barcode scanning. And barcode scanning, the disadvantage with barcode scanning is sometimes it can be harder to find the barcode, but the advantage is if you can get it to work, it'll give you everything in an orderly fashion. So if you scan a product, the product name is always going to be at the top, and then so on and so forth. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you're trying to scan a product, is you might have better luck with the barcode than trying to do a short text or a document type scan.
This is Shree.
Go ahead, Shree.
This is David.
Yeah, I'd like to plug something that I did a while back called Novulence. If you get a chance, Kathy, you can take a look at that podcast where it's relatively simple to use. Once you know what the item is, just using these smart tags. Right. And then that's what I typically do nowadays, is just put one of these Novulence tags in these things, and that way I'm not searching for the barcode. Whatever information that I want to put in, like what you said about those delicious Hostess stuff, just put a little tag, and then when you're done with the box, just peel the tag off, or reprint another one.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Okay,
Anyone
well,
else?
that's good.
This is David.
David, go ahead.
Well, yeah, on cans, the barcode is typically right by the seam where the label is pasted. There's like a seam where the two parts into the label meet. It should be kind of down near the bottom. Of course, you have to make sure you get the can the right way. You might have to flip it over. But of course, with the cans that have the peel pop tops, you can usually tell which is the top, of course. But another thing with that barcode scanner is if it's not a national brand, it's not going to find, if it's one of the store brands, it's just going to say unrecognized product at least for the barcode.
This is Herbie.
Notification.
Okay, Herbie, go ahead.
So first of all, I will take one of those crumb cakes. The one without the cream cheese will be just fine. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here.
No, that's fine.
Envision AI especially is really good at this, but I think you can use it to, like, if a barcode isn't in the database, you can copy it and put it into like Google and see if it shows up that way. So some apps do let you do that if it's not in their database. So I thought I'd mention that.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Anyone else? Okay.
Well, let's Dave again. Sorry.
Go ahead, David.
One more thing. Yeah, for cans, I've been using the voice stream scanner, so I can just quickly take a snapshot of either side of the can, and most of the times I somehow pick the right side, and it'll tell me, corn. You kind of listen for keywords. I mean, you don't have to listen to the whole description. It'll give you a lot of information, but so you can just determine if it's corn, is it peas, is it beans. That's the most important thing. So you don't, open the wrong can. And then, I've been there before where you open something you didn't want to open and you realize, oh, it's beans. I wanted corn, whatever, So, because the scanner is very quick, the Moiststream scanner, and it gives you a lot of information very quickly, at least in my
Kathy.
Okay, go ahead,
Thank
Kathy.
you. This is all really helpful. One of the things that seems to happen is that it gets stuck and it's reading you all the product information. I mean, it's reading a lot of text, but it's not saying the name of the product. It's like maybe they've written it in happy font, and it's just reading the ingredients or the nutritional facts, and it's just not saying, sweet corn or crumb cakes. It's like you get every piece of information except the name of the stinking thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, it sounds like you might be reading the back of the box. If you turn it over and read the other side, usually the main part, the label side of it usually is a lot simpler and it doesn't have a lot of information. But the other thing you can try to do is scan the edge of the box, either the side of the box, not the front of the back, but the side of the box, because when they're putting things on the shelf or when they're taking them out, that's usually all summed up in a short text on the edge for the people that are taking the stuff out of the boxes.
Oh, great.
This is
Thank
Sri.
you.
All right, Sri, go ahead. And then we're going to move on, I think, because Sonia will holler at us.
Yeah, one of the things I just want to suggest with the iOS 15 is the ability to take a picture nowadays, and it's supposed to be able to find the text portion of the picture and read it to you. So that's another option to try instead of scanning it.
This is Dan.
Okay, Dan.
I just want to throw this in quickly. Another option, Kathy, is if you don't already have one, you can get yourself an Echo Show. And I understand you can just hold the can up to the Echo Show and say, what is this? And it will just tell you the name of the can.
Yeah. It's Kathy. I try VoiceStream. I try Seeing AI, and we have the Echo Show. And honestly, I go through phases, but the Echo Show is the most annoying because she's not that consistent in what she reads. She wants you to hold it in just the right place. And
this is Sonia. We're going to keep it to iPhone. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I told you she'd holler at us.
But anyway, yeah. Sometimes it takes all three of them.
Okay. All right. I know everybody wants to get this stuff figured out before they start cooking their Thanksgiving dinner, but we should probably move on. Anyone else have a question they want to ask?
This is David.
David, go ahead.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone has noticed any problems with the, they brought that new feature called Focus, but then we always had the one called Do Not Disturb, which I've always had that set up ever since it was available. So mute my notifications at say 10 p.m. and not let them in until 6 a.m., for example. So, but when the Focus came out, it looks like now it tells, and this is pertaining to the Messages app specifically, like if you send a message to somebody and they have the Focus turned on, which I guess Do Not Disturb is one of the focuses now, or foci, it'll say, user has notifications silenced. Do you want to notify them anyway? And what I've noticed is it'll do it even when they've turned the notifications on, the Focus off. Because I actually did on my phone. I had Do Not Disturb off. It went off, and a friend tried to text me. It was like 6:30 or 7 a.m. or whatever, and my Do Not Disturb had already turned off, but she was still getting the message that I had notifications silenced, but I didn't. And kind of the same thing happened on hers too. It's not. I don't know if it's a bug. If anyone's noticed that, it doesn't always, not always accurate on that.
Okay, anyone have any
This is Stephen.
ideas? Stephen, go ahead.
Yeah, David, you are correct. It does show you if someone's notifications are turned on with the focus. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if you were at the Apple workshop on Saturday, but I did a demo that it was kind of an overview of focus, and I did mention that item. Unfortunately, there's a lot there. I couldn't go through everything, but might give that demo a listen once it comes out on the podcast.
But have you found that it tells people their notification of silence when they're really not?
Yeah, well, no, I haven't found that particular instance, no.
Oh, okay.
But it does, it does let you know. Now, how accurate it is, that's, that's always up for debate with any of these options.
If anyone had noticed that it's kind of like stays on, and makes the people think that, well, they're not getting my messages, they're not being notified.
Yeah.
When they really are, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I have not used that particular aspect of focus yet to try it out, but yeah, it could be one of those things where it's glitched, where some people do forget. I've done it. I've left focus on overnight or something, and the next day, and I see all these text messages. I'm like, when did they come in? And I look, and my focus is still on. So it can happen, that way too.
But the original Do Not Disturb is part of the focus now, right?
That's correct.
It's like one of the foci.
Yes.
Something.
It is. And
I said that for Sonia's benefit.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
foci. Go ahead, Herbie.
So one of the things that you should also keep in mind with focus statuses too, that unless you uncheck it, they are shared across multiple devices. So as far as I know, the focusing has always is accurate in terms of whether they have it on or not. But if somebody is surprised that they are in focus mode, if they have multiple devices, including a Mac, I know we don't talk about them, but it actually is one of the devices that does share across the thing. Make sure they don't have, say, if they think, it used to be if you had your Do Not Disturb turned on your iPad, it would not necessarily be the case on your phone, but now by default it is with the new focus mode. So make sure that make sure that you are aware that, your focus modes are shared across devices unless you uncheck that box. So, or tell it not to. So, that's something else to keep in mind too, that it may not be that you may have focus on one device and not realize it's on all your devices. So that's why I mentioned that.
Oh, good idea. All right. Anyone else? Okay, we're going to move on to the next topic, whatever that may be.
This is Marty.
Oh, Marty, go ahead.
Hey, it's a watch question.
All right, we'll watch out.
Oh, man, God.
Do we have time for those? Oh, sorry.
Hey, I have the simple face, and there are 5 complications. And what I'd like to do is, since they changed the weather stuff, where you used to have your condition and your weather thing together, they're separate now. So I took my moon face away, and I'd like to bring that back. And what I want to put the moon thing where the date complication is, but I don't seem to be able to, when I go to edit the date complication, it won't let me move on to others. Is there anything I'm missing, or is there a way to do that?
Does anyone have the time to answer Marty's watch question?
This is Sri.
Sri, go ahead.
Marty, do you know when you go to edit, when you flick, I can't remember if it's flick up or down or flick right and left, does it go through all the options?
Well, if I do the weather, one of the weather complications, yes, it would go through all, but on the date, it like it says calendar heading, and then it has today's date button or something like that. And I can't flick like beyond that.
This is Sri.
Sri, go ahead.
I'm wondering if that section only allows that particular fields of option. You know, maybe
That's
certain.
what I was thinking. That's what I was wondering if somebody had a more definitive answer. I mean, if that's the case, or.
Okay.
This is Sri.
Sri, go ahead.
I would say if you went through those options and it's not there, then it's probably the answer.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know if Herbie or Brad had an alternative answer, but thanks, Sri.
Okay. That was nice and timely. Now, who has another question? Going once. Going twice. Anyone else? Okay.
This is Sri.
Susan.
All right, Sri, then Susan.
Oh, okay.
This question is probably someone who's running, if anyone here is running beta. I wanted to find out if they're running the newer beta test out there, that they've noticed that their touch on the screen has been less sensitive, or randomly selecting things. Like today, I accidentally called Michael when I was trying to call my dad. And I wanted to see if people who are running beta, if they're experiencing that issue too.
Okay, any beta testers out there that has an answer? Boy,
This is Herbie.
Herbie, go ahead.
So I'm currently not running the beta, but I'm a little bit confused. So what do you mean by the screen being sensitive? I don't know if... I thought they'd fix the issue where if you double tap on a recent call, it calls the right person, but maybe not. Because I think that's a focus issue, not a sensitivity issue. But just in general, what... Are you running into other issues, or what do you mean by screen sensitivity?
Well, this is Sri.
Yep.
Go Sri.
So, VoiceOver said that I had my dad selected for my recent calls. So when I double tapped, it called Michael.
Yeah, so that's been a focus issue. I don't think that's... I don't know if I call it a sensitivity issue. I thought that had actually been fixed, though, in the more recent update, but I have not called anybody from my recent calls, but I will go... And you're running like 15.1 dot whatever the latest one is, right?
That's correct.
This is Brad.
Go, Brad.
Yeah, actually last week, if I'm correct, I think it was Terry Ann may have mentioned this, and it was actually on the favorites screen. I don't know about the recent call screen, but sure enough, a couple of days later, I experienced exactly what she was talking about, where she, I picked someone. I got about 7 or 8 people in my favorites. I picked someone that was down towards the bottom, and it called my wife, who was at the very top of the list. Thank God it was my wife, because I can, if I do some kind of mess up, it's at least it's not, it's only her. She'll figure it. She knows what's going on. But it could have been embarrassing had it been somebody else. But I've not had that happen in the recent calls list, but I did have that happen. It's only happened to me once, but someone, I believe it was Terry Ann, mentioned it last week on this call that they were experiencing that issue on the favorites list.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. Anyone else? Okay. Any other questions to come up?
I think Susan had a question.
Oh, that's right, Susan. I beg your pardon. I apologize. What is your question?
No problem. Okay, yeah, just one more. I've been noticing that whenever I get on to the iBug Zoom room, that the the raise hand comes up, and I've never used it myself personally, but it's doing it by itself. So what's causing it, and how can I make it stop? I don't know anything at all about using the Zoom app. So if y'all tell me to go into such and such on the app, it won't help me. I'm too dumb to know how to do that. But is there something in settings? And this is on my iPad I'm talking about.
Okay, one thing real quick, and then I'll open it up for everybody. You're not dumb, you're just not experienced, okay? They're two different things.
Okay.
And also, please do remember that Zoom had an update pushed out recently. So you might want to check that. Anybody else have any suggestions?
So this is Herbie.
Okay, Herbie, go ahead.
So what exactly is it telling you that you have your hand raised, or what exactly is the issue that you're experiencing?
Yeah, it happens. This is Susan. A few moments after I'm in the Zoom, and then the voiceover says hand raised, and it only says that one time. So I just, fortunately, no one from iBug
I can
said
tell.
anything.
Oh, sorry. I can tell you.
Yeah.
I can tell you because I'm on the hosting side here. Your hand was not raised, so that's really odd that VoiceOver says that. You actually have to raise your hand to. Some Zoom calls do the raise hand method, and when you do that, that's under the more option, so it's not a button you can just easily push. You actually have to go find it. So I don't know why VoiceOver would say that, but it's nothing you're doing wrong.
Okay, this is Susan. All right, yeah, I won't worry about it. I was just wondering it, but as long as it's doing it only once, I won't worry about it. If it kept on doing it, then I would really worry. But anyway, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Okay, fantastic. Glad we could help you. All right, who else has a question? Anyone going once, going twice?
Yes, this is Helene.
Helene, yes.
Yes. Hi. I was wondering if anyone knows if the Alexa app and VoiceOver are repaired.
Okay, anybody know about the Alexa app? They did push out an update recently. I hate to keep saying that, but that's true. Remember that anytime a major update comes out, all the apps and the people that program them seem to push out updates for the new software.
This is Chanel.
Chanel, yes.
Yeah, what's exactly the question about the Alexa app? I missed that.
This is Helene.
Helene, go ahead.
The VoiceOver was not working with the Alexa app, and I called the Alexa app people, and I got someone in Manila in the Philippines, and they were very kind, and they said, we're working on it.
This is Chanel.
Go ahead, Chanel.
I know people have had problems in the Amazon app. I was in the Alexa app today connecting headphones and a new pair of buds, and I guess, let's see, it got stuck today when I was trying to go to devices, and it said something about device favorites, and I couldn't get out of it until I closed the app and reopened it. But that's about all the trouble I've had. So I guess sometimes, when the apps don't cooperate, you can shut them and reopen them. Also, sometimes turning on screen recognition might help, but that is a little bit more complicated, and that might not always work. But I think the app is still pretty good for the most part.
Yes, this is Helene.
Helene,
I'm
go ahead.
trying to work with. I will be going to Arizona from Woodstock, New York, December 1st, and I wanted to be able to have my Nest thermostat. Now, if I'm in the house, I can say to the Alexa, say, lower the thermostat, or what's the temperature. But when I was trying to figure out how do I do that, like when I'm not at home, and the Alexa would not, it just, all of a sudden I would say in the house, Alexa, what's the, lower the thermostat. And suddenly it said, hallway not responding. And it would continue to do that. And the heat was going down lower and lower. And I'm in Woodstock, New York. It was getting down lower and lower, and it's pretty cold. And I was calling the heating department. And basically what it came down to was this voiceover, and the Alexa, something was not working. And now it's working. I unplugged everything and I did it all over again, but I'm a little insecure about when I leave here. Is it something I'm doing, or I don't know.
This is Shri.
Shri, go ahead.
Have you installed the Nest app also, instead of relying on the?
I have Google Home. That's what it says, Google Home, and then it says Nest and Hallway, so that I can swipe my finger across the screen and raise thermostat. I just don't understand that one is a Google, and then I have Siri, and then I have Alexa, so it feels like there's three different people, and they don't all like each other.
This is Shri.
Go Shri.
I would say for that purpose, I would rely more on the Nest app, because that's actually full access to the product, where these others are linked. So if you go on your vacation, I would use the app to control that temperature.
You mean the Google Home?
Mm-hmm.
Google Home.
This is Herbie.
Okay, Herbie, go ahead.
So going back to the original question of Alexa with voiceover, so I just use the Alexa app with the on speakerphone. It's actually a vast improvement than the way it used to be, because it used to be I'd use the app and I'd have to mute voiceover practically, just because it would kind of be talking over it. But what it does is it kind of like tries to silence voiceover a little bit, so that way it's not actually interfering with the Alexa operation. So that is definitely a vast improvement. So you might notice, like I did notice, like it'll muffle voiceover slightly, but when you're talking to Alexa, what it's doing is not competing. So you're not talking to it and it's hearing you, and voiceover saying, type to Alexa at the same time, for instance. So, the change they've made is a vast improvement.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Does that answer your question, Helene?
Yes, this is Helene. I'm going to do that. Thank you so much.
This is Dan.
Dan, go ahead.
Right. Okay.
Oh,
this is Sonia. We're actually at the midpoint, Jim.
Okay.
So.
All right.
We'll come back to you, Dan. Hold tight.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim. That was fun. Went through a lot of questions there. Great job.
Thank you.
All right. So here we go. Second half. We'd love for anybody who came in that wants to say hello. Please say your name and where you're from.
This is Brad. I'm in Dallas.
Hey, Brad. Welcome.
Hi, Nikki's here from San Francisco.
Hey, Nikki. Welcome.
Michael in Houston.
Yes, sir. Welcome, sir.
Roy in Fort Worth.
Hello, sir. Welcome.
Linda from Mumble.
Hello.
Hi.
Jake from Michigan.
Hey, Jake. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
Anybody else? Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Yes.
Okay. Yes?
Kathy from Tulsa.
Hey, Kathy, welcome to you. All right. All right. Anybody else? Okay, guess not. Okay, real quick announcements for this week. Given the holiday week coming up, we actually have, we have tomorrow night, we have iBug Mini Buzz on the Clubhouse app from 5 to 6 Central Time. And then we have a little break. And then at 7 o'clock, we have Mac and Talk. So that'll be fun, and get all your questions about the Mac, whether you have one, don't have one, all those good questions in between. Come check it out. That's always a fun call. Then let's see, we are off until next Monday. We did have a great Apple workshop this past Saturday. We talked about the Focus app. We talked about a weather app called What the Forecast. And then we had some helpful tips. So we had Stephen with the Focus, then Mo did the What the Forecast, and then Chris gave us some helpful hints, and we are grateful to all of them. So thank you, and that should be up soon. Then just getting ready for the month ahead, we will be doing our book club. So if you want to get started reading, maybe over the holiday weekend, we're going to be reading The Lions of Fifth Avenue, and that will be on December 9th. And the DB is DB 99608, and it's about 10 hours and 39 minutes. So if you have some time, we encourage you to participate and read the book. Okay, social media, ibugtoday.org is our website. Facebook, facebook.com/group/ibugtoday is a great place to post questions, get answers, get lots of information there. Follow us on Twitter at ibugtoday. And those are our social media. We also have a free Jumpstart mentoring program. If you need help with your iPhone, then you could fill out on our application that's on the website. And then we'll match you up with one of our amazing advanced users for whom we are so grateful and thankful. Okay, so those are the announcements. And then, how did I forget? Okay, so Turkey Day is Thursday, and then Friday is, well, we're not totally off. We have iBug Tonight at the Virtual Movies. That's going to be coming up on this Friday. That's why it's called Friday Night. And with those wonderful clues is the ever popular, effervescent Mr. iBug Guy. iBug Guy, are you out there?
Well, I never was ever a cat so clever as magic is.
Yes. Here I be.
Here you is? Okay.
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here with you again tonight. It is so good to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Be sure to check out the turkey song if you missed it from Saturday.
No, I don't think anybody missed it. Keep going.
When the podcast comes out. And we all like to communicate. And the best way to communicate is through language. You know, most languages were evolved out of a need to communicate. People made them up in whatever areas. Of course, you're familiar with the Romance languages and the Germanic languages and all the others from the Middle East and Africa and the Far East. But there are some totally made-up languages out of creativity. Does anyone know what some of those may be?
Klingon.
Klingon, yes. Trekkies always can come up with that one. Klingon. Nikki, go ahead. Esperanto. Was that made up creative for a creativity reason? I'm not sure. How about Elvish?
Because it was easier.
This is Shelby.
All right, Shelby.
Vulcan from Star Trek, the volcanic.
Yes, yes. Lots of things out of Star Trek.
Linda was there.
How about out of Lord of the Rings? Anybody know what language came out of Lord of the Rings?
Orc.
Tolkien was a linguist who created Elvish.
And Linda had one, sir.
And Linda, okay, I missed Linda, sorry.
Pig Latin.
Pig Latin, yes. I was waiting on that one. That's one of my favorites as a kid. But all right, very good. There's some other ones. Dothraki. Anybody watch Game of Thrones? Dothraki. Or the Avatar movie, Navi. Anyway, so those are created languages for the arts.
That was very
all right,
informative.
Let's move on. 2-hour movie, which also uses a new language. That's not a clue, but all right. So don't forget, we are about to have Michael Malaysia.
Was that an extra little trill there at the end?
All right, let's get ready to rumble.
Oh my God.
We
You have to have a song with a commercial.
He's definitely effervescent, right? You like my word, effervescent. I mean, golly.
Yes, I got bubbles coming out of all the different parts of my body.
Stop.
All right. Let's see. What are we supposed to be doing? Oh,
clues.
Giving out clues. All right. Okay. Don't yell out the title. Say your name first. We don't need to know all the actors, and we don't need to know the storyline. We just need the title. All right, here we go. Clue number 1. Our film this week is a remake of a romantic drama from the 70s.
Okay, that
Shelby.
narrowed it down.
Well, that
Shelby.
helps.
Still Magnolias.
Still Magnolias. Good guess, but that's not it. Clue number 2. We initially see our female lead struggle with her dream to make it big as a performer.
This is Chris.
Chris.
A Star is Born.
A Star is Born. And I didn't get to give my other clue where the female lead was previously involved in a bad romance. All right. Ding, 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 ding. Chris got it. A Star is Born, the modern version.
Wow. Hey, man. I wanted to say close, but no guitar, and I can't do it.
Watch my poker face.
All right. Very good. All right, Johnny, what do we have for our winner tonight on Clue to Clues?
Yeah, she was awesome. Way to go, Chris. All right, so for you, my dear, we know that you have lots of talent. So maybe you can play the guitar too, because you were going to have a beautiful new guitar. Of course, it's a Gibson guitar. I heard those are like the best. And it will be in the traditional iBug colors. And guess what? You will also get a 1-year supply of Mr. Bubbles.
Now, remember that guitar comes with no strings attached.
Yeah, you can play your guitar in the bubble bath. Well, be careful. Don't get the guitar wet. And if you don't know why we're giving you bubbles, come watch the movie and find out. Thank you for playing. Thank you, Chris. Good job. And all right. Good job, Mr. McCullough. Would you like to say goodnight, please? He's already gone. What happened to my effervescent partner? He's gone. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I had my mute set. But anyway, yes. We love those effervescent bubbles coming out of the tub. Enjoy them, Chris.
Careful how you make those bubbles.
I know, wonder. All right, here we go. Thank you, Chris. Okay, moving back to our regularly. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh my. All right. Okay. Wow, we're getting way out of control. Okay, everybody's going on mute. My favorite button.
Now, wait a minute. It's a.
All right. There we go. Peace has been restored. All the effervescence has been smashed out of the call. All right. So now, just so we know where we're going with this, we're going to have our iBug segment, and that'll be like a 5-minute demo of an app or tip and trick. And then at the 9 o'clock hour, we have our iToys segment with Herbie. So we've got lots to get through. And then at the end of those presentations, of course, we'll resume and have our regular questions. So Jim, everybody's muted. Are you ready to go? You are muted too. Okay, we're waiting on Jim. Let's see. Okay, hold tight. We will get Jim back and then we will start. So.
All right, how about now?
There you are, perfect.
I've been talking to myself all night. And
you sounded great. We just couldn't hear you. Okay, all right, go for it.
All right, now.
9:42 p.m. Try again.
See, it's after 9 o'clock. I don't have to do this.
Passcode field 70311.
Okay, what I'm going to talk about tonight is we're going to do a scenario. Michael and Sandhya, who are the lords of creation of iBug, need to talk to each other a lot, and sometimes they mute their phones, or they block their calls, or they mute their phones, mute their contacts. So I'm going to show you guys how to create an emergency contact bypass. Okay.
Dock, phone, 1, tab bar, keypad, contacts.
And I'm going to find a contact on my phone, and I'm going to show you how to set this up.
Adaptec, audio ducking, audio.
Whoops, wait a minute.
Speaking word, character headings.
Can you all hear the phone?
Actions, activate.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You can make it a little louder. Yeah, good.
All right.
That's
okay.
Good.
All right. How about now?
That's good. I think I'll be fine. All right.
Jim O'Neill. Me.
This guy never calls me, but we'll try it anyway. So what you have to do, go into contacts, find the contact that you want to use emergency bypass with, and open it up, which I've just done, and then hit edit.
Edit button done.
Then go down to
company, add phone, mobile, but add phone, home, add email, ringtone.
Go to ringtone.
Bar, ringtone, default, crystal, cancel button.
And at the very top of the screen,
emergency bypass, switch button. Off. Emergency bypass allows sounds and vibrations from this person even when the ring switch is set to silent or when do not disturb is on.
So I'm just going to hit that button.
Emergency bypass.
I'm going to turn that on. And it's as simple as that. If you have a contact that you need to be in touch with, all you have to do is go to your contacts, find the contact, hit edit, and go to ringtones and double tap on that. And at the very top of the screen, you'll find that emergency bypass switch to turn it on. So, and then all you do is hit done at the very top right-hand corner of the screen.
Ringtone, last nick done.
And then done again, and it's all set. It takes that little time. And if I had somebody on here that was in my contacts that would like to help me do a demo of that,
Clubhouse.
I'd be glad to do it. Marty, are you here? No, I guess he's not. Sandhya, how would you like to be a participant in this demo?
Okay, so what do I have to do?
Well, when I tell you, you just have to call me, but I have to set you up first.
Okay, you're going to set me up. Okay, go ahead.
Notificate 940. Notification. More. Dismiss. Contacts. Back button. Contacts. Groups. Carol O'Neill. Characters. Headings. O at T S R. At Mike Ray. Beth Regan. Santiro. Amtrak reservations. Beth Regan. Santiro.
Okay, now I'm going to go to.
Santiro.
I'm in Sonia's contact.
Actions available.
And I'm going to edit.
Edit 80%. Edit. Done. Dimmed.
And I'm going to go to ringtones.
Tab. Ringtone. By the cancel.
Okay.
But emergency bypass. Switch button. Off.
I'm going to go to emergency bypass, switch button on. And now I'm going to go to done at the top right of the screen.
Battery power. Done. Done. Edit.
All right, Sonia, if you would please call me.
So I'm just one thing I had to ask. So because we're doing this call and everything, you've already got your do not disturb on, right?
Yes.
So that's the premise of this whole thing.
Right.
So I'm going to call you and it should ring. Okay, here we go.
Yep. Okay.
Call Jim O'Neill.
Calling Jim O'Neill.
Incoming call.
Oh, wow. I feel
Yeah.
so special.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up.
Decline.
Okay.
Settings.
And that's all there is to it.
Double tap to open.
All right. Thank you, Jim. I had no idea it was under ringtone. I would never have looked there. So hang on,
I
let's
know.
unmute and then we will get
Okay.
some questions. All right. Anybody have any
This is
questions
Shelby.
for Jim? Okay, go ahead, Shelby.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Real quick. So do not disturb does not work when your phone is unlocked. Is it possible, like, okay, because I know when I have my DND on, when my phone is unlocked, alerts and phone calls still come through. The only time it works is when your phone is locked. And another thing is, what if the person blocked your number? Can that work? Like, let's say if Sonia blocked my number, but I need to get in contact with her, will it work?
I don't know about that. I think block means that, you.
Block means block, right? That's
Yeah,
what I thought,
yeah,
but I figured
yeah.
a bypass would.
So in
bypass.
other words, if I block you,
Uh-huh.
I didn't know we were fighting, but that's okay.
Well, no, just a general like scenario.
You're right.
Because I know *67 can bypass the block, but
What?
I was wondering if that too is another sneaky way to bypass the.
This is Herbie.
Go ahead.
So the blocking thing is totally different from do not disturb. That's
Right.
just saying that they cannot actually block you. And one other thing I wanted to mention real quick is if you go to the do not disturb settings, you'll be able to fix it so that alerts do not come in when your phone is unlocked.
Okay.
This is Sonia.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
the setting, I think it's like always. So there you can
Yeah.
choose on lock screen or always. So if you pick
Yeah.
always, then you're not going to get any notifications.
Right.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? Question for Jim?
Marty?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jim, I couldn't unmute, so when you asked if I was there, I was, but anyway.
Oh, okay. All right.
If if you mute your phone, then I guess it would, in other words, your mute is gonna like trump. In other words, I guess it would vibrate. It wouldn't ring, right?
No, it did ring. I muted my phone. I had my phone on mute when Sonia called me, and it bypassed it.
Oh, it bypasses the mute.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it bypasses the mute and do not disturb.
Okay.
This is
Now,
Brad.
doesn't
Go
work in
ahead.
both directions, right? I mean, like if I went say and did it on your contact, would it just work if I called you, or would it work like if you called me?
From what I gather, it's mostly local to the particular phone, okay? Because I might not necessarily know that you put it on. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
Thanks.
just local to your phone. Brad, what was your question or comment?
Marty was asking if your film was muted. I'm not sure what he was asking, but does that mean if you flip the switch on the side of the phone?
Yes,
Yes,
I had
that's what
I had the switch flipped over.
To mute, and it still rang.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it is that's what it is. It's an emergency bypass, you know.
Okay, anybody else?
Susan?
Susan, all right.
Yes. Yeah, a couple of things. One, for the emergency, would it be for, say, for example, I had a emergency and I need to contact my sister. Does it work that way, or would it be like if she had an emergency and she had to contact me? Is it that way around?
No, understand the way this works. If you are in a situation, okay, where you have to mute your phone, you're in a meeting or whatever, you're in church, okay, because God doesn't like your phone ringing in church. I don't know why, but He doesn't.
It's distracting.
Okay, I didn't think He distracted that easily, but in other words, your sister needs to get a hold of you to find out how to do that recipe you told her last night. Well, if you have her set up, if you have her contact set up with emergency bypass, it's going to come through that it's going to come through no matter how your phone is set. Do you follow now?
This is Kathy.
Kathy, go ahead.
You know, it's almost for if somebody's in the hospital and you want them to be able to get in touch with you no matter what, or one of your kids, you know, somebody that you need to let them get through no matter what, anytime, anywhere, because you're in a meeting or something. You don't want just anybody calling in with, you know, people who are important to you, but it's for that emergency time where somebody has to get through.
It's a special circumstance, a special exception. Okay.
All right, anybody else? Final questions? Because we do want to try to get back to Dan. Okay, Jim, that was very cool. Thank you so much. Okay, very good.
I was going to do the weather app, and
all right.
Well,
maybe another
next
day.
time.
All right. Okay, so we have Dan. Are you still there? And do you still have your question? And you should be able to.
Yes, I am.
There you are. Sorry about that. Put you on hold.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm still thinking. I'm still thinking about the iBug guy. I think he needs to get one of those bubble machines, you know, like they used to have in Lawrence Welk.
Somebody turn off the bubble machine.
Dan, don't encourage him, Dan. Don't encourage him.
Yeah. Anyway, my question is about the A-Lady app, Alexa. First of all, I understand that my understanding is that if someone wears earbuds or some other type of headphones, you can get around that conflict with voiceover on Alexa. But anyway, my question is, how do you update the Alexa app? Where is the update function for that?
All right. Any of our Alexa app users? She has come up a lot
This
today.
is Shelby.
Okay, go ahead, quick.
Go to your main app store, and you should, on your updates on your app store, you can just update the app like that, like so.
Okay.
And it automatically transfers to your whatever polka dot of choice that you have.
All right, thank you.
This is Marty.
Go ahead, Marty.
Dan, an easier way is if you have in the settings, I think it's update apps on or something, like automatically update. If you have that turned on, then your apps, if the developer forces through an update, it will automatically update your app.
Oh, okay, good. It applies to everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
You turn on automatic updates and you're good to go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Glad it was worth waiting for. Okay, who's next? Anybody else for the question? For our iToys segment in just a few minutes. Who has a question? Somebody new that hasn't had a turn. Got lots of people that haven't had a turn. I will be quiet for a whole minute. Anybody?
This is Deb.
Hey, there you are. Go ahead.
I don't really have a question, but
you're fading in and out. We don't hear you.
Share.
Okay, go ahead. Start over, please.
Oh.
We didn't hear you.
I don't have a question, but I found the solution to something that was kind of annoying to me, and I just thought I'd share.
Yeah, please go ahead.
It was in the latest update to iOS. I noticed in my phone's the SE20 is the one that I have, and every time I touch the screen, it just had this like haptics, like real fast. If you'd move your finger around on the screen, it'd do that a lot. And evidently there's a setting in there that you can turn off. And I don't know if it's for the newer ones or just that one or the older, I'm not sure, but it's under VoiceOver. And then you go to audio, sounds and haptics. And that if you go on down quite a ways, there's a thing that says no item found. And that switches automatically on with the update, and you can turn that off, and that makes that quit doing that.
All right.
You'll still have some, you know, depending on how you've got other things set, but you don't have that constant. It was pretty fast. So anyway, it was nice for me to find out. So I just thought I'd share.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I think
Thanks.
you're helping some people's sanity there. Good job. Thank you, Deb. All right. Anybody else? The quick question.
This is Terry with
Go ahead,
a
Terry.
follow-up comment about the automatic updates, unless you don't want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a cautionary tale here. The thing you want to be aware of is if you have automatic updates turned on, and there comes a time when you get an update that you didn't necessarily want, you're stuck. It's usually once an app is updated, you can't go back. So that's why some people don't turn auto updates on, because they would rather update the apps that they want to update rather than having them all update automatically.
Very well put. Thank you, Terry, and for bringing that up. So that is definitely true, because as we all know, apps get broken, right? So with updates, that's what happens. And see what happened. Poor Marty is out there and doesn't have any chimes, and he's just going around without chimes. So, all right. Okay. So very good. Thank you. Beware, Dan, but I think you'll be okay if you can, update the individual app. We're going to get set up now. We're going to start the iToys segment, and then after that, we will resume our questions. So we're going to give Herbie our attention. 1 second. All right, Herbie, you should be able to come in.
All right, so we are actually going to give our full center of attention to Shri this evening, who has a very interesting side product for Apple TV. And this definitely, well, you know what? I'm actually going to let Shri do the talking. What do you know? Shri?
All right, Herbie, can you hear me?
We can, yes, sir.
All right, so at my household, last year we made a decision to move away from cable TV and go to full streaming. And when we did that, we obviously had to buy a streaming device, either through your TV or through like an Apple TV. So we opted to go through the Apple TV. And one of the biggest problems that I've heard about Apple TV is the remote. They are sometimes, people have said it's difficult to use. And a lot of people have complained that it's easy to lose the remote. And so there's a company that came with a solution for this, and the company's called SideClick Remote. And what they do is it's basically a remote attachment of your Apple TV remote to the SideClick. And it costs, but the retail cost is $29.99, but I found it on Best Buy. It's on sale as low as $14.99. This particular remote attachment weighs about 6 ounces. The size of it is about 5 inches by 2.7 inches by 0.07 inches. So basically, when you attach this remote, your Apple TV remote to the SideClick, it's much easier to hold. And obviously, you're not going to easily lose your remote. The SideClick remote comes with 8 programmable buttons. These buttons are listed, straight down, 1 through 8. Just think of it as that way. It's got labels on these buttons, but we as blind users, we can program these 8 buttons any way you want. And the way we program a button on these remotes is you push down button number 1 and button number 8. So you're going to hold down the number 1 button on the top and the button number 8 together at the same time. This will invoke the programming mode, and then all you need to do is then pick one of the 8 buttons. You push that down, and then what you will need is your original remote. And with the original remote, you push whatever button you want to program. And the reason you need the original remote is because the SideClick uses the IR mode or IR technology, infrared, so it needs the original remote. Now, with this, with the SideClick, because you have these 8 programmable buttons, you can control your turning on your TV on and off, maybe turn your receiver on and off, or your sound bar, or anything that you want to program 8 buttons, you can use the SideClick remote. And the way it works is basically when you get the SideClick for the Apple TV, they also make it for other devices, but for the Apple TV, you basically get the 8-button remote, which is the side, and then you get 2 attachments with the clicks. That's why they call it the SideClick. So you kind of click the side of the remote. And you get 2 different attachments because we have 2 different types of remotes that Apple TV comes with. So it supports any of the Apple TVs from 2nd generation to the 5th generation, as well as the 1st gen 4K. I don't think it's going to work with the 2nd gen 4K because the series on the side. So I'm not sure if it actually will work on that. But what we would do is I have got my Apple TV remote with the SideClick. And so basically I have my attachment that fits perfectly on my 1st gen 4K TV. And basically like I said, it's 2 attachments. So on the left side is your side, which is basically where all your 8 buttons are. And on the right side is basically your attachment. And what you basically will do is you'll take your Apple TV remote and slide it from the bottom on one of the 2 attachments, and you slide it all the way through, and it'll click and stay in place. In the back, it's got a little push button that you can push down, and that will allow you to slide the remote out if you want to. But you can also charge it by just these remotes, because they use the Lightning port. You can kind of just pull the notch in the back down and then slide the remote out a little bit, then you can charge it, because otherwise that little push down button blocks the Lightning port. And then what you basically do is you take this attachment and then you can side click it. So you just basically kind of line it up with your attachment a little bit below the left attachment, and then you just kind of click it. And so now I have a full Apple TV remote with 8 programmable buttons, as well as my Apple TV, in a much comfortable, a hold and feel. And it's almost the size, like I would say, like a mini Apple phone, I would say maybe. Very comfortable to feel. It's curved on the edges, so it kind of sits comfortably on your palm, and you can fully use the remote and not be worried about losing your Apple TV remote. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And at my household, for all our streaming devices, we have a side click attached to it so that we don't lose our remote. And Herbie, that is my presentation on the side click remote.
Alrighty then. So folks, I guess if you go to Shree's house, it'll be impossible to take his remote. There's no remote possibility of that happening. So with that, we will open the stage up for questions. Let's see here. Yep, you are allowed to unmute yourself. So does anybody have any questions for Shree? Marty?
Is this available, Shree, just for, like, is this available, say, like, for your sound bars or your cable remotes?
This is Shree. So you can definitely control your sound bar with this. I use it to control my receivers. Now, some cable boxes, like I've heard some issues with the Comcast remote because you're using infrared. So it's basically, you line up your remote to this side click in the front, because they both have a little remote sensor, infrared sensor in the front. You do have to line it up, but because some cable boxes have some proprietary stuff in there, that it may not go through to the side click remote.
Now, when you slide the remote in the side click, you don't doesn't it like push down the remote buttons or how do you slide the remote in, like the back of the remote with no
it's actually yeah, this is Shree. So it actually just kind of slides on the top of the attachment. So it's got you're basically kind of holding it, and then sliding it like you're pushing a remote from behind the back end of the attachment. So you're not holding any of the buttons because you're just sliding it through. And all the buttons are clearly exposed. So you have full access to all the buttons on the Apple TV remote as well as the side click remote.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Marty. Who's next?
And like I said, Best Buy, I think I just ordered one like 2 days ago, and I was surprised because I typically get it at Best Buy for about $19.99. Now they had it for $14.99.
All right, so they're going down in price a little bit.
This is Sandhya.
Sandhya, yes.
So as a person who's lost multiple Apple TV remotes, I'm definitely interested because, okay, so how big is this thing now? It's just like a regular remote. You said like a mini iPhone, is that what you said?
Yeah, so it's 5 inches by 2.7 inches by 0.07 inch. So it's it's a pretty comfortable feel. Like compared to holding the Apple TV by itself, compared to this, it's a night and day difference.
Okay. All right, thank you.
This is Terry.
Yeah, Terry.
All right, yes.
I guess I'm confused. I must have missed something somewhere, but how you slide this gadget into your regular remote, but how does that keep you from losing it? Because couldn't you lose the whole darn kit and caboodle still?
Absolutely. I mean, this is not what this does is if you have an Apple TV, you know how small that remote is. It's basically paper thin, right? It's very thin. It can easily slide between your couch, and as Sandhya just told us that she's lost a few. What this does is makes it a little bit more difficult to lose, but it makes it more comfortable to hold.
Got it. Yeah, I guess I've not seen an Apple TV remote. Maybe that's my problem.
It's probably the size of it's probably maybe 2 inches long and about 4 inches long, but it's razor thin.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, this is Sandhya.
Yes, I do.
It's just like a stick of gum. It's like two sticks of gum, run next to each other. That's how, I mean, it's so thin, and they're not cheap to replace. So you're definitely going to be saving money by getting this things. Because I think I had to, a while ago, I think I paid up to like, I don't know, I thought it was may have been $20-$30 just to replace that dumb thing. So, all right, thank you.
This is true. I mean, at some of our rooms, we don't even program the 8 buttons. We just put it in there just because it's so much easier to hold it. Just especially when you're hitting these buttons on the remote, it's a much more comfortable feel to hold and reach the buttons. So some of them we just have it just as an attachment so that it's holding our remote. And it does come with batteries.
All right.
2 AAA batteries.
Excellent. Okay. Then in that case, who has our next question about the Apple TV side-click remote? All right. Well, Shri, it's the reason why there's no questions is you did an excellent job, as always. So thank you, sir, and we will see you next time for... Oh, Michael.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't get unmuted there. So, Shri, the Lightning connector on the Apple TV remote, does the Sidekick have an insert that goes in there, and then you would charge the SideClick has a lightning port to do the charge?
Yeah, so there is no lightning port on the SideClick. So basically, you slide the Apple TV remote to the attachment. And so basically, when I charge my Apple TV, I basically just there's a little push down pin in the back of the remote that allows you to kind of slide the Apple TV remote out. So what I do is I just kind of slide it out just a little bit so that the lightning port on the Apple TV is exposed, and then I charge it.
Okay.
Because right now, when you slide it back in, that pin covers that lightning port, the push down pin.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All righty. Anybody else with any final questions for Shri? Alrighty, well, this definitely sounds like a great product for you Apple TV remote users, and I don't have an Apple TV myself, but if I ever go to somebody's house that does, and I see a stick of gum laying around, I'm not gonna touch it or anything like that, because it may not be a stick of gum, it may be an Apple TV remote. So,
all right.
There you go.
Thank you, Herbie. iToys, very cool, and it was only up to $14.99. Can't beat the price. Okay, thank you, Shri and Herbie. All right, now back to a regularly scheduled program. Who did not get a chance to ask a question? This time is for you. Who has a question?
Linda.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
When I am in Facebook and I find a recipe that I like, it'll have a link in my whatever, what's it called? Anyway, I'll click on the link, and at the top I can save the recipe. And once I save it, I don't know how to find it after I've saved it. And it doesn't go to my favorites because I've looked for it there. Does anybody know how I can find it?
Okay, who can help Linda find her lost recipes that were saved on a link in Facebook? Is that right? You clicked on a link and saved it. Okay, where are they going? Where have they gone?
This is Deb.
Go ahead, Deb.
I might have the answer. If you go into your profile and then go into the thing that says top shortcuts, if you hit there, if you tap there, then you'll get the list of things that you've saved, I believe.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Fancy. All right, Deb. Good job. Okay, good luck, Linda. We can't wait to see what you're going to make for Thanksgiving. So you're just going to make us jealous. But okay. All right. Very good. Okay. And so I guess that would apply for anything, not just recipes, any link that you clicked on and saved, right? So, okay. Who's next? New question?
This is Jody.
Go ahead, please.
Can I ask a Clubhouse question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So going to the latest update on the Clubhouse app, if you hit Explore, there doesn't seem to be a search box there anymore. It just goes directly from, the top, and then it goes to people you might want to add. What to do with the search box?
All right. Anybody have any help for Jody with the new Clubhouse update? Can't search for people. Okay, guess not. Jody may have to come back tomorrow on our mini buzz. Might find an answer there. All right, good question. Okay, who's next? Somebody new? I have a question. Who has a question?
Well, this is Herbie.
Okay, hang on, Herbie. Let's give everybody a chance. Anybody else? Because if not, I have a question. Okay, so my question is, the other day I was trying to locate a link that I was on a website, and anyway, the long story is I found out that I have like 500 tabs in my Safari. So that was a problem because we didn't know if it was at the beginning or at the end or goodness knows where it was. Okay, so how, and then I did stumble upon how to close, like I closed some of the private tabs. I got rid of like 189 of them, but how do I get rid of the others without literally swiping up and closing each one? And I think I've asked this question before, and I'm sorry if we're repeating. So anybody have a quick answer? Anybody that hasn't had a turn want to help?
This is Marty.
Go ahead, Marty.
I think, yes, you did ask it before, and I think Jim might have mentioned that you double tap and hold, and it brings up more options. One of them is close all tabs, because I did that after we talked about it.
Okay,
and you can close all of them, because I think I had about 500 some.
Oh, good. I don't feel so bad. Okay. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Marty.
And then
okay.
I think you can also select whether you want to do it on a weekly basis or daily basis automatically.
Right. Okay. Yes. I'm a hoarder, so I don't believe in throwing anything away. So I was going through those tabs, and there were some things that I had looked up in 2019 was kind of embarrassing. So, all right, maybe I need to start. Okay, thanks, Marty. All right. Okay, Herbie, question?
Well, no, actually, I was going to bring up the fact that you had something to mention, that you'd mentioned something at the beginning of the call before, like the actual call started. So I was actually trying to give you the stage opportunity. I will mention, though, on the subject of what you brought up, that I'm surprised your phone didn't slow down at all with that many tabs being open with Safari, or your Safari didn't slow down, because that's a lot of sites trying to process in the background. So I'm curious now if you'll notice once you close all tabs. It'd be interesting to know if you have noticed a behavior improvement with Safari at all. So.
Okay, thank you. All right, great. All right, anybody new has a question, new app that they found, new observation, anything? Love to hear from you.
This is Chris.
Chris, go ahead.
Good demo, Jim. You had talked about the ringtone for the emergency bypass, and I'm sorry I got pulled away. Did you also talk about the text tone for the emergency bypass?
No, he did not.
Okay. I was just going to mention that because I recently found out about this function, and it's come in handy with certain people. that you can actually do the emergency bypass for text as well, not just a call.
Oh. So if a child or a friend
Teenager.
or teenager needs your help and they don't know how to use the phone anyway, they only text you. So,
well, no, it's for me when they keep telling me, oh, I had it on Do Not Disturb. I didn't get it. Well, now they're going to get
they cannot ignore you. Oh,
correct.
Beautiful. Got it. Okay.
Right. Just, little tip. Yeah.
Okay. Good job, Chris. Thanks for sharing. All right. Got two things there. Emergency text bypass, emergency call bypass. All right. Who's next? Anybody new with a question or a prompt? I think I should just, anybody? This is your turn. Okay.
This is Marty. I have an unusual.
Okay, go ahead.
It's about an old headset that I found from years back. It's called Swage Sport. It's a Bluetooth headset. It's one of those, the wire is like behind, it's an over the ear, but a small over the ear, and the wire is like behind it, like on the back of the neck.
Okay.
It's the connecting wire. So there are several ports on it, and I guess to make it like more waterproof, that the ports have like a little cover, sort of like a rubber thing that you pull. So the one port by itself, I found out, is a micro USB. There's another port that's like a double port. So in other words, you could pull the rubber off on either side. One plug, I'm not sure what it is, if it's some USB, but none of the USBs that I have fit in it. And then looks like it doesn't fit the 3.5 millimeter audio. So I don't know if it's like for a 2.5 millimeter. I'm just wondering if anyone ever had a Bluetooth headset like that and what those ports might be.
All right, anybody? Okay, we're getting an echo. Hold on. All right. Anybody have any ideas of Marty's interesting headset from the past? Lots of unidentified ports. Okay. Guess not. Marty, sorry. Okay, who's next? Anybody new? New question? Please. Anybody? Free to ask a question. Okay, I have another question, I suppose. When we've talked about navigating threads, and I want to know how, if you're in a thread, so this is like back and forth, Herbie, me. Okay, so sometimes I've noticed at the end of a message, it'll say, see more from, I don't always see everything. And I know, I'm not sure what it is. I mean, is there, because I don't always see that see more from the other person.
This is Herbie.
Yeah, go ahead.
So some of that see more stuff is like the original message that a message in the thread is responding to, so that see more can bring up like the previous message. I find it a lot easier though to read threads with the iPhone, where I will swipe down on instead of opening it, I will swipe down on the thread and go to where it says expand, and then I can read each individual message that way. And I find that a lot less confusing on the iPhone than just opening it and trying to go through the messages that way.
So don't open the thread, just swipe down on the thread?
Yes, swipe down and you should see an option that says expand thread.
Okay, because I know we've talked about that on this call where we open the message and then there's like 15 people in there, and then you wrote her and get to message and all that. So we don't have to do that.
Nope, you just swipe down and then you can swipe to the right and read each message. You can open it if you want to do that, and then you can also, once you're done, you can just collapse the thread and you can mark it all as read by swiping down again if you want, or deleting it, whatever your preference is, and there you go.
So one more issue, and anybody is free to help answer this question. I mean, threads are just a mystery. I mean, they saved a lot of time, but I think they cause a lot of confusion, or at least they cause confusion for me. So you're in a thread, and then maybe you want to, I don't know, you need something out of it, or you want to. So if you forward it to yourself, you forward that thread to yourself. What was the question? I mean, there's something about, does everybody else see that you forwarded it to yourself? Probably not, right? I mean, it's only when they were involved. So what you do with it after you got it doesn't matter.
This is Herbie.
Yeah.
So the threading is an option that you as an individual turn on or off with your respective mail client. So if you forward the message, no, the original sender cannot see that you forwarded the message. At least I don't think.
Yeah, you're right. There was some other issue that I couldn't remember if everybody saw it. You know, I'm trying to remember there was another issue I've had on a work email. Okay, I'll have to think about that. Okay, all right.
This is Terry.
Go ahead, Terry.
I would love it if something like that would work with text messages as well, because when you're in a group, let me rephrase that. When I'm in a group and I'm getting a plethora of texts in this group, there are times when I cannot separate out specific messages and read just one message or the other. So I'm wondering if this Seymour, by the way, he's a neighbor of mine too, in case you wondered. If this Seymour thing can work in text messaging, or if there's a way to do that so you can separate out and read individual messages.
Okay, yeah, I don't think
more easily.
I've only seen it in email. So one more, anybody else? The related follow-up?
This is Marty.
Yeah, oh, go ahead, Marty.
I wanted to also mention, and because when I expanded the thread, I was a little surprised, but when you expand a thread, say you have 10 messages in the thread, they will not be one behind the other, because it depends on when those emails came in. You'll have other emails that are outside the thread that they'll be embedded in between the other messages. This is
Terry.
Okay, go ahead, Terry.
I don't have that problem. There must be a setting that allows that to happen or not happen, because I use thread emails, and when I expand the thread, I only get the messages that pertain to that thread. I never ever have other emails that get in between. So I wonder if there's a setting that allows that to happen or not.
Okay, we're going to have to go ahead, Shree. One last comment. Go ahead.
Nope. I was just going to say, I know in settings mail, you have the option to receive in the threading to whether you want the oldest or the newest to be on the top, but I've never seen another mail get in between a thread when you have threads turned on.
Okay, that will be the final word. Thank you again. Thank you to my co-host, Jim. Awesome job. And then our iChoice segment with Herbie and Shree. So we got lots of cool information today. We hope that y'all will come back for tomorrow Clubhouse, the iBug Mini Buzz if you have more questions. Then we also have the Mac and Talk from 7 to 8:30 Central on this same Zoom conference line. iBug Not at the Virtual Movies. We're going to be watching A Star is Born. That is going to be an awesome movie. Come find out why we gave Chris some bubble bath. Then, of course, we will wish everyone a happy and blessed Thanksgiving. And we are so thankful for all of you for participating and being a part of the call. So thank you, everyone, and be safe and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Good night.
Thank you. Sandy, which version of Star is Born is playing?
2018.
Thank you.
The new one, yeah.